Okay, sensor tower data gacha revenue is in. It's that time of the month, guys, when everybody loses their mind. The cope is on, your game's dying, end of service is coming. Let's get the stick out and beat another community because, hey, that company that I likes made more money than the company that you like. And yeah, it's that time of the month, guys. I don't usually do these videos, but I watched the Saint Antos video earlier, and I just thought his video was a little bit disingenuous, if I'm honest, because the gacha revenue, in my opinion, is a tool. It's a flawed tool, but it's a tool that's just there to kind of give out a little bit of information. You shouldn't really take too much stock in it, if I'm honest. If you're sitting here desperately waiting for revenue and you're not a reporter, you're not a journalist, I think you need to go touch grass or maybe play the game that you're advocating for. Just go and enjoy it instead of sitting here waiting for this. It's kind of weird, but I must admit, I don't think this is a scam. I don't think it's disingenuous. I don't think they're lying by omission. I think you've got a site here that's trying to provide information that's just inherently flawed. And it's flawed because they don't have all the information themselves. So, what am I talking about? We've mentioned this multiple times in my content, but I wanted to make another point because Saint Antas referenced it. And I think he referenced it because it's kind of being used to beat a particular game at the moment, which we all know about, Wuthering Waves, and we all know that Saint Antas is a bit of a glazer. Now, hey, I'm not hating on the player, right? I'm just saying, he's a bit of a glazer. Do what you got to do. I don't hate on it. I kind of like him, and I think he makes good content, far better than me anyway. But I just wanted to make the point. Of course, we all know that the Android data doesn't get recorded in China. And basically what they do on this website, they take the data from iOS and they take the data that they don't have from Android and they guess it basically. They take the data from iOS and they're 175% extrapolate it basically. So if you're getting 1 million for iOS, they'll take it as 2.75 million basically. That's the information. I think that's an overestimate. It's probably less than that because if you look at global, which I know it's not an exact one-for-one, but it tends to be somewhere similar. If it's 3 million in iOS, it tends to be around about 2-3 million, potentially 4 million, but it's not a massive amount of difference. It's kind of similar, so probably just doing a one-for-one would be a better way to do it, if I'm honest. Let me move this thing out the way, still my head in. But we can't say for a fact. It might be different from month to month. So it's not an exact tool, but I don't think it's disingenuous. He also said that these disclaimers should be all at the front of the website, which, okay, fair enough, maybe you could argue that, but at the end of the day, if you're taking stock into this, you probably should look into it a little bit more than just the face value anyway, if you're going to use it as some kind of argument against other people. But it's not really hidden. You just click there, you hover over that, you click there, you've got all the information here. Where'd you get your data from? What's the information? How are you coming to these calculations? All this sort of stuff. It's here for you right here, really. But anyway, shall we have a look at some of the data then, shall we? Because, everybody likes to do this every month, don't they? Because it's the in thing to do, right? Obviously, we've got the overall list here. Love and Deep Space at the top of the list. Once again, Genshin's in the mix. Honkai's there as well for CN and Global. AFK Journey's still doing well. The typical people are up in there. And if you see, Wuthering Waves has dropped down just a little bit again. But one thing I've noticed this month is Global is absolutely outspending China. Now, there's been a massive drop-off in China. There definitely has been a massive drop-off in China. We've also got to remember that these numbers will probably go up in the coming weeks. They tend to be a little bit underrepresented at the start of the month. But I still think it's interesting to see. The drop-off happened, a couple of months ago for Wuthering Waves in China, though, didn't it? I don't know if it was a release of Zenless on Zero or other games, but the drop-offs happened. And I just don't think that China is going to be the #1 region for Wuthering Waves, if I'm honest. And I don't think mobile is ever going to be that big for Wuthering Waves. It's never going to go to the moon in that regard, because for me, this game is a PC game and it's going to be a console game that just happens to be on mobile as well, where some of these other titles, if their revenue drops off a cliff for mobile, it's probably a little bit more of a worry for them. Your AFK Journeys, that sort of stuff, which are definitely a little bit more for mobile. Some of these games don't even actually have PC clients. They're just only on mobile specifically. So definitely you should take a little bit more stock in that, I guess. But you shouldn't look into it too much, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's have a look at Punishing Grey Raven as well, actually. PGR kind of just doing what it's been doing. It's not making insane numbers, but these numbers have kind of been the same for a long time. You'll see we have these blips where they jump up. But for China, it seems to be around about this sort of you know, $1.3 million. Obviously, this is a guesstimate, but if you look at the iOS numbers, they've been pretty stable for the most part. So PGR is still doing its thing that it's been doing for a long time, and it's been going for 5 years now. It's not going anywhere. Good to see that they're still, you know, things are pretty stable over there, because if you haven't checked out this game, guys, you should. It's freaking fire, man. So good to see that they're still doing their thing, and they're obviously profitable because the game's been going for a long time. It's allowed them to go on to make Wuthering Waves, so it's obviously made them a shit ton of money over the years. Let's have a little look at Zenless Zero as well. I thought this was quite interesting. I didn't know that it had such a drop-off in China. Zenless Zero, the drop-off has been insane. We know that initial month was ridiculous, talking like, what, $100 million in total. Obviously, probably for China, it'd probably be a little bit less. I wouldn't even be surprised if this number wasn't like more like 55 to 60 million rather than this sort of number, but I'd definitely say it was less, because again, I think these numbers are overestimated, and global was 30 million, but it has seen a decent drop off as well. But we're coming into a period of time as well where, you know, the run up to Christmas, holidays and that, I don't think people have as much disposable income as I've had prior. So I think we'll see across the board, actually, a lot of games potentially having a drop off. Let's actually have a look. What is the, yeah, see, we've seen a 22% drop off in revenue altogether. Again, we'll probably see this go up in the coming weeks, but interesting to see, but it's not surprising either, because I think people will be getting ready for the holidays, for Christmas. Their money will be going towards other things and probably not going into gacha games, and banners come into that as well. Let's have a look at Wuthering Waves then, shall we? Because this is the one everybody likes to talk about, I think. You know, we saw this drop down, but 7 million for global and 2.75 million for China. This number's probably lower, actually, going off the extrapolation, that 1.75. But I know this sounds crazy. I'm kind of glad. I guess we won't never know, because I feel like probably like 70% of the revenue for this game comes from PC. But I like the idea that global's getting a little bit more of the revenue, if I'm honest, because I feel like we'll get listened to a little bit more in global then, and China kind of won't dominate the narrative of the game, which happens in other games. So I think that's good for us, really. And I think they're making bank, basically. They're still making bank. You know, the game's not going away anytime soon. Well, we can hope the game won't go away anytime soon. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on this. It seems like overall revenue's down in general. But again, won't take too much stock day one. Don't take too much stock full stop anyway, guys, because we don't get the full picture anyway. You know? If we had all the information from the companies, then we could talk about these. But we don't. It's third party. It's incorrect. But I just wanted to make the video more because I just don't think it's a scam. I don't think the website is lying by omission. I don't think they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I don't think there's some kind of agenda going on here to make Puyo look better than Kuro. Because this whole thing of putting too much into this anyway is ridiculous. But the whole idea that this has got an agenda has really come about recently from what I've noticed with Wuthering Waves, and the community's like, it's all bullshit, man. They're just trying to make Kuro look like Wuthering Waves is going to die. So, but why? I don't get that. Maybe you can enlighten me and explain to me why that's the case. I just think this is a flawed tool, and I just think that Wuthering Waves is never going to do as good as some of these other games on mobile, because it's not a mobile game. And I don't think you should put too much into it anyway. And if you are one of those people that's looking at this and then going around trying to attack other people for playing something that you don't play, you're a weirdo. Stop doing that. Touch grass. Go play the game you're advocating for, and just stop being a freak, basically, is my opinion on that. And yeah, can we tone down the glazing for Wuthering Waves as well? You know, in the community, we get a little bit defensive, I've noticed. I'm saying me as if I'm part of it. I don't really consider myself part of any community. I just play games and I talk about them. I guess I am, really. But I'm a part of all games communities. I just play them at the end of the day. I just happen to play Wuthering Waves a lot recently. And yeah, just that, yeah, you know, just tone it down a little bit. Enjoy the games. If you want to have a look at the revenue, it's fun to have a look at to see what's going on. Don't take too much stock into it, guys. All right? And yeah, enjoy the games you're playing. Pull what you want to pull. Don't spend too much money, and enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know what you think in the comment sections as well. Let me know. What's your view on all of this? Do you think it's all a bit ridiculous? And if you have enjoyed the video, guys, drop a like, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra.